In this video, I'm going to show you how to use some basic equations in your spreadsheet. So first, in column C here, I am going to take what the average American spends in each of these categories, and I'm going to multiply it by my specific monthly net pay, so that I can find out how much money, if I'm structuring my budget the same way that the average American does, will go toward each category. So what I want to do is I'm going to navigate to the first cell that I'm working with, which is C4. And what I want to do is type the equal sign. You always start your formulas, equations off with an equal sign so that you're telling the spreadsheet that you want it to do a calculation for you. And so in this case, what I want to do is I want to multiply my monthly net pay times the percent, which is 29% here, and I just push enter, and it tells me that the monthly budget for housing, according to my monthly net pay, is $899. Now, you could do the same exact thing here. You can push equals again. You can say, and you can do it in either order. You can say, okay, multiply this 16% times this cell up here, and push enter. You'll notice in both of these cases, what I'm not doing is I'm not doing equals 11% times 3,100, because when I do that, it does that basic calculation for me. But if I were to change something, if all of a sudden I got a raise, I would have to redo each and every one of my equations, because I'm telling it to multiply each of these by $3,100 exactly. And I want my spreadsheet to be more dynamic than that. So I want it to always multiply by whatever my monthly net pay is. So I'm not typing in the specific numbers, I'm referencing the cells. That way, if I change what's in the cell, I don't have to redo all of my equations. So here we go, times this value up here, enter. Now, I could keep going through this, but picture that instead of having, 5 or 6 more to do, I had 400 more to do. This seems like a waste of my time. So what I can do is I can copy and paste. So I've already got my equation here, B6 times B1, and I can just go and move to this cell. I can go copy. I can go down here to the cell that I want to do it in next, and I can do paste. And you're looking at this, and the whole time when you're doing a spreadsheet, you want to be mindful. You don't want to just blindly say, okay, yes, whatever the spreadsheet's doing is accurate. Because if I look at this, I'm supposed to be taking 3,100 times 10%, so I know that it should be $310 here, and instead it put 0. And I have to kind of look back up the formula and say, like, okay, it did B7, the 10%, great. But then it also did B2, and you're like, why did it move down? Well, that's the way the spreadsheet is meant to work, is when you move down a row, it assumes that all of your values are also moving down a row. But that's not the case here. I want it to stay fixed on cell B1 specifically. And honestly, every single one of these is going to need to be multiplied times B1 up here. So the way you tell it to, instead of moving down the row or across the column like spreadsheets are meant to do, you want to tell it, no, always multiply times this value here. So what I'm going to do instead is in my equation, this needs to be B1, not B2. Okay, great, it's now the 3,100. But what I do here is I put a $sign in front of each of these. So that tells it, don't move down, stick on B, and stick on 1, basically, so that you're always multiplying times this. Now, you don't put it here for the B7 because you want it to keep moving down. So watch what happens. Now when I push enter, I get my 310. Awesome. If I copy this and I paste, you'll see that I got $217, and when I look at my formula, okay, I've got B8, which is right, and I've got $B, $1, which is right here. So that's exactly what we want to do. As we copy and paste down the rows, we want it to keep moving down the row in this B column, but we want to keep multiplying by this static cell. So basically the way you tell it to stick on one static cell is to put a dollar sign in front of the letter and a dollar sign in front of the number for the cell. And so what I can do now is I can go to edit and copy, and I can actually highlight the entire way down this row because I want it to do all of them, and do edit paste. And now I've got all of my remaining values filled in one step. Hi, this is Jessica from Next Gen Personal Finance. I hope my video made you love spreadsheets as much as I do. NGPF is a nonprofit organization offering free personal finance resources for high school teachers to use with their students. Frankly, our curriculum is amazing. Be sure to check out our website or watch my entire playlist of helpful spreadsheet videos. Enjoy!